Good evening, everybody. What are we wearing?
You stood up and I stood
up. Let's sit down. Let's get into this. What do we think? Opinions on the shirts. Go in chat. Hello, welcome to our live stream, everybody. Another Thursday night of chaos and chat about the hobby. Yep. And drama and technical difficulties and David getting the shit ripped out of him for not finishing massive projects, which is
Hey, boys and girls, I have bought something to allow me to take photographs of my magic project or my massive projects. It will arrive tomorrow.
Oh, this is I won't spoil it. He might tell us later, but I know what that is. Great to see you guys in chat. Hello. First of all, let's start with welcoming Tim. I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks, buddy. I don't know what you've been doing. Some dude on YouTube. It's great to see you back. Yeah, Lightbox. Well, Cheese Me's guessed it. Man, he's on the wavelength. Yeah, hello to Darren. Hello to Trevor. Hello to Orinoco. Who else we got lurking in the chat? Cheese Me we've already called out. And I think that's it. Hello to all of you guys.
Oh shit, I've overfilled my wet palette. Fuck's sake.
Tell you what,
not a technical difficulty though.
I may be skipping out later because I forgot to refresh my wet palette. But I'm not planning on doing that straight away. So
I need to refresh my water, so I might have to duck out in a minute.
We might even give people a flash of the Be Right Back screen. With our groovy artwork. We could do it all profesh. Anyway. Spillage, not yet. Although he has just... Good for you, Tim. Yeah, Tim was playing Battletech. Which version? The absolute Mega Crunch full blood Hex version, Tim? Or is it Alpha Strike, the lightweight one?
What was the other thing I was going to say?
Let us know in the comments, Tim. What you've been up to? It's good that you're getting hobbying, mate. You know, salute that.
Oh bollocks!
Going to get. I apologise. I'm going to apologise now for this irritating little heart in a circle that is squatting in the YouTube chat window. It is being imported with the YouTube chat into OBS. I have no idea why it's there. It's never been there before, and I have no idea how to get rid of it. So I apologise. So you played the full-on two mechs aside is 6 hours play hex-based full fat Battletech. Well done, mate. Yeah. It's is it? Oh, it's a feature. Well, it's crap. Bloody thing.
How is it a feature if it detracts?
I don't know.
Just fucking saying.
Everybody's spamming it now, so it's obviously doing something. It's shedding little icons, so people must be doing stuff.
The internet is interneting. Wonderful.
Well, at least you guys know what the hell it's for. So, what we're going to do? 2 hours. The next couple of hours, David and I are going to run through our usual format. So the first thing that we'll do is go desk down, have a look at what we're going to be hobbying on tonight while we chat with you guys. Then we'll have a quick... It's not a feature, it's a bug. Yeah, that's what I thought, Limburger. I honestly, genuinely thought, oh, it's screwed up. So then we'll go over what we did at club this week, which is part of David's journey into fantasy gaming. And then I haven't got much news, so we'll do a little bit of a waffly chat and interact with you guys in the chat. Then
I don't know. I come in with the clutch news that I discovered today, and oh my god, is it pretty?
yeah, it is, to be fair.
However, if you don't like 3D printing, turn off.
Yeah, it's not for you. It's not for us. It's not for us who don't 3D print. And then about 9 o'clock, we'll get into our main topic, which is dredging the bottomless pit that gives all, which is UKGE. And we've got a couple of crackers, I think, to look at tonight. One, a game that's already in production, and a game that is coming soon to Kickstarter, probably. Or are they skipping Kickstarter?
Yeah, no, they are coming Kickstarter September. Did you take the fucking notes?
Yeah, I've got the notebook somewhere. Did I fucking use it? Did I fuck?
You bellend, you better find that.
I'll have to duck out because I know where that is. That's upstairs. But yeah. So let's get on with it. Right, mate. Who's going to go desk down first?
Me, sir, me.
Right. Okay. So we don't want that one. We want this one.
Hang on, let me zoom out a bit.
Oh, we might have. Oh.
Hang on, let me get more. Pershings. M24 Chaffies.
So, David.
Greyhounds.
So, are you actually working on any of this, or are you just pouncing about and showing off what you've got done?
I'm putting gun barrels on my Easy 8s.
Oh, okay.
Building the calipiece, and possibly building a Sherman Jumbo.
Okay, so you've got the weapon system to put on top of the calipies and the guns to put on
and the turret
Sherman.
to build.
Are the Easy 8s, you said?
Yeah, Easy 8s. Sherman Easy 8s.
And this is for those of you who hear the last week, this is part of our hashtag build and paint all of your UKGE, which we're going to start.
Orinoco, is your spring clean finished, Dave? Is it fuck it lives where?
Actually, that's a good point, mate. You need to get some stuff on. You need to get some stuff on. I don't know when the deadline is. Probably this weekend, is it?
Yeah, well, I've bought my light box. I'm going to take photos tomorrow night once I've done other stuff.
Like fucking to the wire as usual.
Anyway, there is some nicely painted League.
Yeah, but if you don't enter the competition, what good is it?
Okay, well, I'll fuck the fucking Easy 8s off, and I'll get bullied into fucking doing.
Orinoco thinks it might be Tuesday. It closes.
Right, come on then, Orinoco. Let's fucking go. I need to duck out and get water, so I'll be right back.
Why? What are you gonna do?
I'm fucking painting, bitches.
So
I've been bullied into it, so we're gonna fucking do it. Fucking prove a point. Let's go.
Great. Well done, everybody. We bullied him into it.
Let's fucking go.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'll let you.
I'm gonna duck out, and I'll be right back.
I'll let you duck out, and while David ducks out, let's have a look what I'm going to be doing, which is basically exactly what David's just showed off, but this is mine. So for everybody who was here last week, we both pulled the trigger on Flames of War, having and ahed about it for a while. And David got the Americans, I got the Germans. So like David's just done, there's a whole host of stuff. I'm really well into assembly. I have all of my Panzer IVs assembled. I have both of my Tigers assembled. Stugs assembled. Get this right, Paul. Stugs assembled, Tigers assembled, and Panzer IVs assembled. So they're all done and sitting in this box off to the side. What we're on now is the SDK, I believe it's half tracks, which are for one of the infantry platoons.
Oh, Trevor, if only you knew how last minute I leave absolutely everything in my life.
Yeah, yes, Limburger caught me. Limburger caught me misidentifying a tank. That's it. All internet credibility has been lost.
The Germans are coming for you.
Yeah.
In other news, did
So
you
that's
find
what I'm
plastic
doing.
glue,
I'm
and
basically
have you
going
got
to
any
plow on with
fingertips
this.
left?
Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Did you find your plastic glue? And have you got any fingertips left?
I had to start this project assembling all of these 15mm models with fucking super glue, because despite knowing that I had a bottle of this, and despite knowing that I'd had it recently, I couldn't find it. But I have now found it. So
The internet has now caught up with you, dickhead.
we are back on the plastic glue, which is making this project so much easier for everybody. Also, for everybody who's been with us before and is thinking, why does Paul sound so fucking weird? I have got a slight problem with my voice where I don't know what's wrong. I don't think I've had any kind of infection because I haven't had the usual symptoms, but my voice is really gravelly and I've got a bit of pain in my neck. It is better today, but my voice is still not right. So that might be why I sound a bit of a freak. So apologies for that.
More than usual.
Yeah, more than normal. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be caning the flames of war, and it looks like David's actually been spanked and bullied into doing his League of Infamy, and quite right too. He's in with a shout on this project, I reckon. If he gets it all up on the internet, I don't think there's many people who will have done for the Spring Clean Challenge about 130 odd miniatures.
Well, yeah.
I'm
on slapping on base paints on
hey,
as much
Crispin.
as I can tonight, ready for photos.
Hi, mate.
Yeah, Crispin's here. Chat's going to turn dirty in 3, 2, and 1.
Well, I was going to say the spank jokes may just sort of like run out of control at this point. So that's what we're up to. I need to get my goggles on because I can't see.
Because you're old.
Even for
you're
assembly.
You're old.
So Monday night club. David.
Yeah, where do we start? Where do we start really about Monday?
For everybody who's been following along for a while
and or hiding under a rock,
David is currently in the market for a rank and file fantasy game system.
Ideally containing some dwarves.
Yeah, but I think that that is the main driving force for this, isn't it, mate? You have got a hankering to do some sort of classic trope fantasy dwarf army. Hi, Dan. And in
it's
order
a valid
to
excuse.
In order to sort of like give him an excuse, we're trying to find a game system that he can gel with. Now, we've tried Kings of War, which was mixed receptions. David didn't really like the way that the nerve
I liked
tests
the movement. Hated nerve tests.
Yeah, he doesn't really like that.
Minis are all right.
We tried Hobgoblin, which was famously not a resounding success.
Mainly because they don't bother giving you everything on the try before you buy.
Yeah, I think while it was definitely admirable to give the free rule set on the Kickstarter, leaving out like all magic and various other things, the stripped down version of the game left David with a bit of a, particularly by the time we played our third game, David was sort of like, no, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, because again, we broke the Rubik's Cube, solved how to do the Rubik's Cube, and obviously magic might have been something that changed the dimension of the Rubik's Cube.
I think, and again, we had some concerns about the balance and the equality of the upgrades, the curses and the boons, didn't we? Some of them
again, when fragility reduces you to half of your available doom or whatever it is, and it doesn't reduce your model unit cost by half, only by 50 points on a 300-point unit, it's like, why the fuck am I taking this? I'd rather take the Ravenous boon for minus 50 points.
Or curse, rather. and and then there was the Boom Tough, was it? Which just seemed a bit busted.
No, it's just
points.
just
or whatever it was.
But what about Assassin's Creed? How about fuck off?
Yeah, come on, give the bloke a chance. I mean, I don't think it's a bad go to be tackling such a massive project as he is doing, and frankly doing quite well. For those of you who were there at the end last week, I think we worked out you've only got like 10 models with nothing on them.
Yeah, something like that.
It's really hammering it. So
Oh,
anyway.
fuck. Bollocks.
What?
Just broke my camera stand.
How? Badly?
It's in pieces.
Oh.
Whoopsie!
Well, that's all right. At least we got to show you desktop off. So what we explored Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th edition. So this is the first fantasy rank and file game with full miniature removal that David's tried. And basically for those of you who haven't been watching, what I'm doing is basically trying to switch out the rule set but leave the models very similar. So we played the elf-orc matchup that we used for Hobgoblin and Kings of War, so that I thought it was a good idea that David could see what impact the rule set has on the gameplay rather than
miniatures.
The actual, building unique lists for every game, which just might add variability that hides other stuff. So we played, I think to use the models that we used for the other games, which was 2 or 3 units of orcs and a couple of units of elves and a couple of characters. It was about 800, 900-ish points under Warhammer Fantasy Battles. So David won. Is the TLDR version. His first game
completely
of
unintentionally.
But the game progressed in quite an interesting way, because the elves had a unit of spears, a unit of archers, a unit of Loathen Sea Guard, just small unit of Loathen Sea Guard, a mage, and a elven lord with a and an elven lord with a bow. So the orcs had the usual 20 mob of boys, big uns upgraded with full command. We had a unit of 10 Araboys, musician only. We had a unit of 20 night goblins with bows, with musician only. And a goblin mage. A
goblin wanker.
A goblin knight shaman. And a orc war boss on foot with 2 hand weapons, trickster helm, and I can't remember what else I gave him. Oh, it was the weapon that gives him +2 attacks on his base profile. Anybody who's an expert at Fantasy 8th edition can tell us what that is. So, yes, Cheeseme's already down to the nitty-gritty. Did he have fun? Well, I enjoyed the game, but then I always enjoy fantasy. And to be fair,
because you're old and reminisce.
We played the scenario. I think it's called Battle Line. It's the first scenario in the book. The only thing that matters is kill points. You get 100 points for killing the enemy general and 25 points for each standard that you take. So,
and points for units you wipe.
Oh yeah, kill points for units that are fully destroyed. So no half points for wounded units, only units that destroyed. Running away. Now, David pulled a blinder and I made a massive gaff.
TLDR.
Okay.
Go right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
First way of playing 8th. I do not like random generated spells, as intended.
Yes.
And I rolled, what was it called? I can't fucking remember. It was the movement one. It gives you either 10 inches of movement or 20 inches of movement.
Yes. From the, again, we did deliberately say, let's use the high elf law of magic, magic, which might not be the best choice, but I said to David, let's just use that, because otherwise he could have easily spent like 20 minutes reading through all of the magic lists in the core book, trying to decide which was the optimal choice, which isn't really the point. So he just went with the high elf one, and he generated a random movement spell, which I did advise him he could swap out for a rather nice ranged fireball.
I went, fuck the shit, I rolled it, let's play with it.
Yep. But the whole random magic you didn't like, did you, mate?
No, I did not.
Let me get the name of that spell, because somebody's asked. So the spell that David rolled was Walk Between Worlds. For anybody,
this is an important thing, by the way.
It is,
because it features later.
Yeah. And I had. I rolled a spell that allowed me to reduce my opponent's initiative. Well, if anyone who's played fantasy knows that elves have always strike first, so that was about as much use as a chocolate fucking teapot in this matchup. So I swapped it out for sneaky stabbing, which was the signature from the Law of the Little War. And the other one I got was the one Night Shroud that allows me to put
the
cover.
Fucking Buffy spell.
Which, given the fact he was bringing some quite good shooting with a unit of 20 longbows, fucking elves being elves, I thought, well, that's actually quite a good spell. And it pretty much every turn I got it off, which put all of my units in cover and dramatically reduced the effectiveness of his shooting. Which was really handy, to be fair. But anyway, mate, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how the game went from your perspective?
So from my perspective, because Paul is a heathen and Paul forgot rules, because it's been that long since we played 8th.
That is true.
What was this? End of turn 2?
It was in turn 2. Because
in turn 2, the orc boars charged into my spearmen. Didn't really do a lot of damage because I didn't even lose a full rank, did I?
Which was the important thing.
And then because he won, he rolled for. Well, we worked out combat res, and then I was running away, and then got cut down by cavalry.
Yeah.
It then took us a little bit longer to work out and realise steadfast is a thing, and because I had so many extra ranks, I wasn't cut down and brutally murdered.
No. So we had to do a little bit of a retcon there. And I do admit that was my fault. I have so many editions of this game in my head. I'd completely forgotten that the steadfast in 8th, where if you have more ranks than your opponent, you ignore all the combat res modifiers for the leadership test at the end. So, whereas his elves broke and were run down, when we actually remembered, oh no, but it's a bigger unit, he just stood there and said, yeah, okay, charge me, I don't give a shit. And it dramatically altered.
Me with spears.
It dramatically altered the game.
So there was that. Your boys charged into my Loathen Sea Guard.
Yes,
wrecked a bit of face, and again killed me down to a man.
Orcs on the charge, we did it. But it's that David's just highlighted the crucial thing. I killed 9 of them, and the other bloke ran away and escaped.
And then rallied the next turn.
Yes, and as the observant among you would realise, we only score points for destroyed units. So his 270 points that were invested in that Loathen Sea Guard unit, I failed to capitalise on because I chose, for some bizarre reason, not to hunt down and murder with extreme prejudice that last lone member of that unit. So he went and hid in a hedgerow and basically meant that David won the game because I'm an idiot.
Because meanwhile, while this was happening, I killed his entire goblin unit of, what was it, 20-odd goblin
20
archers?
night goblins, and then, of course, the mage who was in there for protection.
Yes.
Some protection, that was.
So absolutely murdered them to a man.
Yep.
And then we come to movement shenanigans. So, what was it, turn 3, you just waded through Malothan Sea Guards, you were about to nearly flank charge my bowmen as well, weren't you?
Yeah, basically, having cleared the Sea Guard, I didn't pursue them, but then repositioned to smash into his bows quite nicely.
However, my mage went, fuck you, cast Walk Between Worlds with the 20-inch range, and basically my archers, because it gives them ethereal, phased through the other unit and went and stood behind the spearmen.
Yes.
And then just with movement shenanigans, I was just keeping stuff out of position again. I'd hammered on your, what's it called?
No,
hammered on your cavalry.
Yeah.
And then they ran away.
Yep.
And rather than pursue, I just stood where I was. And then with them, I made them fall back with the movement of the mage the next phase, and made your charge extremely difficult because you had to go all the way around the trees.
Yeah, again, he drove because the balls didn't break that shield, that spear unit on the charge. I'll come back to your comment in a minute, Darren. Because the balls didn't break the elves on the charge, as the battleground on, we're only a unit of 10 boars, and he's like 20 elves fighting in 4 ranks, not charged. He just chopped me up and picked me apart. Stabby. So then when I ran away, he didn't pursue because I was like cavalry, so I thought, well, I'll never pursue and catch them. He then used his stupid fucking spell the next turn to teleport or basically wander behind a piece of woodland so that I couldn't actually charge without taking a ton of dangerous terrain tests, which I did. I had to do in the end. Yeah, so I think, given that it was his first game of 8th, he played an absolute blinder because not only did he win the game with movement, which is really how fantasy games like this are won and lost in the movement, he did it with magic, which is a very 8th edition thing to do. How did you win? Oh, the wizards did it. It's like a very high elf strategy, frankly. But it was a bloody enjoyable game. Really
and again,
good.
What was it? Turn 3, we suddenly cottoned on to murder units because you were like, "Why are you shooting?" Because you'd said to me after the charges and things,
I wouldn't have
why have you been
shooting those goblins?
Why have you been shooting at the night goblins? You should have been shooting at these guys that are coming and wrecking face. I'm like, there's methods to my madness. Wizard's pissing me off.
Yeah, which was fair to take out the gold goblin wizard. Darren, yes, goblins do fear elves. Obviously, if the elves had ended up in close combat with the goblins, that would have been a factor. But it never happened because basically the longbows just decimated my goblins. Just
before they even got in range.
I think they killed them down to about 3 guys after two or 3 turns.
No. To be fair, your wizard did irresistibly cast a spell and then detonated 5 goblins as a result.
That's true. I did that. That was a thing that happened. I did blow up 5 of my own units. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Tim. This was not. This wasn't
nitty gritty.
Number one, neither of us was running battle standard bearers. It was only a 900 points tester game. There is nothing about these lists that's optimized. It was rank and file elf archers and bowmen with just the Logan for Seaguard, because just to make up the points, really. So don't get the wrong impression. These lists, yeah, I could have brought 40-man blocks of goblin archers with 3 fanatics in each block and just been a twat. but what would have been the fun in doing that, to be honest. So yeah,
and again, it gave me a proper taste of Magic. And again, that's the thing that I commented to you on. It still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I know we've discussed it on stream before, but Mike, with Hobgoblin not including a key part of a fantasy game, even just as a taster, was a bit of a disappointment for me.
Yeah. So you didn't like the nature of the way the spells were generated. I think you quite liked the way the magic phase worked in a whole, didn't you?
Yes, I do like the Winds of Magic, and you don't, unlike AOS, you don't have to be within certain range to be able to dispel spells. You're just able to dispel them depending on what you roll, etc.
What about the combat? Calculating combat resolution and
combat res and pursuing and cutting down a unit, I did comment to you I didn't like because we played it wrong to begin with. It did feel better the second time around, but even then, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I do like the remove models as you go.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of having
I think
to
as well when you realised... Sorry, go on, mate. You finish.
Having to calculate your combat dice and everything of, oh, well, I got front rank and elves fight 3 ranks deep or 4 ranks deep if obviously we're not being charged. And do you know what I mean? It's just like, for fuck's sake. At least Kings of War and Hobgoblin, it's like, right, the unit throws 10 dice. Get 10 dice, throw the fuckers. No, get on with it.
It is totally fair because at the end of every... And to be honest, you did sort of... I think you sort of twigged... This could get a bit complicated when you've got 3 or 4 units in a massive melee. And yes, it does get very fucking complicated when you've got a big scrum of flank charges and fucking just a mess. It does get a bit fiddly. That is totally fair. I mean, I would say... Well, the one thing I would say, and I definitely went into this knowing this... Although I played 8th edition as it is, because I own all of the books and have all of the toys, if David had said, oh, do you know, this might be the game system for me, I definitely would have, moving forward, said, we'll try WAP or one of the updated versions. Where they've fixed a lot of the super busted magic spells and absolute wonkiness from 8th. I'll be honest, I would even consider going back to 6th because it was a very tight system, not overly emphasising heroes and magic, and a lot of the second-hand market stuff isn't really horrendously expensive for 6th. What bits I would need to pick up to finish my collection. So... As I say, even if David had fallen in love with it, it probably would have been a version of fantasy that we went with, not actually raw in your face 8th edition, which is
not bareback 8th edition.
No, because it is very much its own beast, and you either love it or you don't. Is I think very fair to say.
And again, I did say to you, we may go back down this road, and I may be proxying some dwarves.
Yeah.
Just to see that dwarves are actually for me.
Yeah, but I mean, that is the other thing. You want to collect a dwarf army. The one thing that I would think is that most of these systems, Hobgoblin's easy because you can basically build the army you want.
Whatever the fuck you
add
want.
The key. If you want crazy fanatical killer dwarves, you can just put the right buffs on them. If you want dwarves as they are in the classic fantasy trope, high resilience, never run from combat, grindy as fuck, you can just literally pick the right upgrades on your units, and that's what you've got. But I mean, Kings of War dwarves, they've got the same play style. Darren says 6th is his favourite. Yeah, I think there's a lot to recommend that, Darren. In terms of in terms of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, I think 6th edition can be argued to be probably the best rule set. Again, other people...
Your opinion may vary.
Well, I mean, notoriously, Rick Priestley thinks 5th edition was the best. But then again, he abso-fucking-lutely loved...
Orinoco, in answer to your 28mm question, I'm not overly fussed. We did discuss this previously. I would prefer a larger scale than, say, 10mm, because painting details at 10mm is just meh.
Yeah, I think you'd rather have the hobby experience at 28, but the game...
Yes.
The Dwarves is a good band. Yes, well, it is, Tim. You're right. Yeah, don't labour the point, Limburger. Yes, GW had something great and ruined it, but...
Don't worry, because they might kill it again!
Yeah, I was
Sorry,
say,
salt warning.
So we've got the old world. We've got the old world coming. So you know,
that's going to be a car crash, isn't it?
Yeah, that can't end well at all. But
it's took all of 5 minutes for 10th to be broken.
Yeah, I must confess, when I saw the sort of Rick Priestley interview, he's like, "Well, 5th edition is my favourite." It's like, Rick, what the fuck, mate? Are you on speed? Was it meth? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Ketamine.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Monday.
Yes. So come on, give everybody, because this was all largely for your benefit. Although I fucking enjoyed, and I will get fantasy to the table with any flimsy excuse. Go on. What's the final word from the man in the hot seat?
What, on 8th?
Yeah.
It's all right. This is the thing so far. Out of the 3 that we've played, Kings of War, Hobgoblin, and 8th, there's been bits of like from each of them, but there's not an overall fucking game there that I'm like, yes, no, that's the thing for me.
And I did try, people. I did try to get him to pin his flag to a mast and say,
I like sitting on the fence.
Out of the 3, which is the best, but he wasn't having any of it. He wasn't having any of it. So basically, we haven't found your perfect rule system yet, have we, mate?
No, we have, however, found the dwarves that I will be starting to print and play.
Yeah, he knows what models he's using, just doesn't know what game he wants to play with them yet.
Highland Miniatures, for those who are into 3D printing.
What you can do is you can send me a link and I'll bring them up for people. So yeah,
that's... now, live?
Well, just send it to my messenger and I'll sort it out when I finish messing around with these SDK front axles. So yeah.
Oh, you've got to build fucking 15mm axles?
Yeah, well, they're bigger than the fucking hull guns on the bastard Panzers. Jesus.
How much super glue do your tanks comprise of?
Shut up.
Or how much skin do your tanks comprise of?
It's about 15% weight by volume, I think. Tech difficulties. Right. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's all going to go wrong.
There you go. Sent on Messenger.
So, what does everybody else think in the chat? I want to try Oathmark, which I've never played myself. The problem we have is it's going to mean spending real money because there's no try before you buy version of Oathmark that I'm aware of.
What was that super cheap one that we found? I don't know where it was, but it was like 2 or 3 quid. We should give that a try.
Was that the 15mm one with the weird name?
Yeah, but you just double everything up and you're at 30mm.
Yeah, I know, but was it that system? Begins with an A.
Argatoria?
Argatoria, well done. So,
try Warhammer again, but with dwarves. Yeah, but Dan, I want to find the rule set that speaks to me, and then I'll start shoehorning dwarves into it.
I mean, I did say to him, obviously, dwarves have got insane leadership, and they're pretty much, I think a lot of the units get stubborn by default. So, he doesn't, they don't suffer from the routed and run down thing so much. I did notice, Darren, that the OTT team, Ben, I think, is building for Oathmark, isn't he? And Lloyd? Question mark?
And there's a Kings of War slow grow build going on at the moment, and there's a campaign coming in September, and...
Ironically, though, you liked the model removal, didn't you?
Yes.
I think it's
Oh, fuck.
What?
We've got to try Oathmark. Guess who it's written by?
Yeah, didn't you know?
No, I didn't!
Oh.
Fuck it!
Yeah, it's a Joseph game.
Oh, bollocks. Bollocks. Bollocks.
I really like the look of it.
That's going to be a game that I love, isn't it? Let's be brutally honest. I love everything else Joseph's done.
It was the Wargames Illustrated channel, YouTube channel, that did some playthroughs with Joseph.
When rules are starting to talk, you should go see a doctor. It's not just the rules that talk, Tim. It's everything.
Yeah, they've Kings of War are bringing that again.
It's the year of fantasy.
GW did their rolling season thing where they kept changing stuff, but they don't do it the same way Mantic do. You just get great value boxes, and nothing else changes. They're such a better company. They're such a better company.
Ronnie's killing it. We've got a Worms board game coming that was announced at UK Giant Games Expo.
Haven't seen anything about that, but then I'm not overly interested.
I haven't. Whereas I massively am, because I remember being like 6 and slightly older on the PC playing Worms and incoming. So that's going to be a jaunt down memory lane.
Tim, maybe I shouldn't be painting tonight. Grabbed a colour and started to shake the mini. Yes, Tim. Welcome to my world. That's all.
Dear.
Holy hand grenade. Yeah, I mean, it could be fun. I guess it's going to be a board game. I think Alessio Cavatori's writing the rules, isn't he? Riverhorse.
Yeah, so we know it's going to be.
It's probably going to be a good little game, whatever they do with it. I'll be honest. Again, I love
Hellboy's quite a good board game by the looks of it.
What's that?
Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy gets really good rep. I mean, you've ummed and ahed about this before, though, mate.
I know.
You're just fucking.
I'm just waiting to pull the trigger.
Got to be tempted, haven't you? That's your problem.
It's got to be a deal as good as Flames of War.
Going forward,
let's just put it like that.
Going forward with David's fantasy obsession or his fantasy journey.
I was about to say, just be careful where you're going with that sentence, Paul, because that has a completely different connotation to other people.
I think we should try one-page rules regiments. I initially ruled out one-page rules regiments because it was miniature removal. And I am shocked David enjoys that, because it's one aspect of rank and file gaming I don't miss. That constant changing the size of units and losing, as you get ground down, you get weaker and weaker and weaker, and the inevitability of death.
Yeah, that'll fix me.
But David seems to like it. So bearing in mind it is free, we probably would be
miniature removal.
It would be irresponsible not to try that system, because it's heavily distilled from fantasy, a lot more simplistic, but it's still got the miniature removal thing, which he liked. As I say, Oathmark is on the table. There's that rule set Darren sent me, Lords and Lands, which is also possible. Yeah, I again, Orinoco. It was just one of them things that when I played Kings of War for the first time, after being like years of a fantasy player, it was like, oh my god, of course, what a simple idea. Sort of like...
Yeah, but again, it's like you said to me, oh, well, you can put a little stick on and use little icons, or you can put dice on. I like a nice clean table.
Yeah.
Tokens can go.
You like what you like.
Tokens can go fuck themselves,
don't you? You like what you like.
But again, I suppose, right? Here's a fucking radical idea. Just play it like you do Armada. Have a little printout of your unit to put your dice and damage on.
Yeah, have a unit card at the back. You can do that. As I say, because, you know, I've seen all sorts of solutions. People create places to put... maybe it was it Panzer Kaput then, Darren? When we were talking about rank...
It's a billion degrees I'm opening.
When we talked about... We did a live stream a month or two ago about this whole thing and David's journey. Somebody emailed me a game called Lords and Lands. If it wasn't you, Darren, I apologise. Maybe it was Panzer Kaput or somebody else. Because I know it was one of the OTT crowd. That's all I can remember. See, Tim throwing shade.
Why?
Toros. Yes. It may well have been Toros. Thank you.
Why is Tim throwing shade?
So, Tim says, nice clean table in quotation marks. Except your painting table, of course.
Tim, fuck off.
Gotcha. That's very good.
Hey, this is the cleanest my hobby table has been in a while.
Yeah.
I've been a man on a mission. Paul was terrified that I wasn't going to make stream this evening because I was busy sorting other bits out in my room.
5 minutes to go, no fucking sign of him, and then he comes on, oh, I've just been cleaning. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes before we go live. Yeah, that's what I do. Why don't you run the Hoover around, you tit?
I did, actually, dickhead. I restacked a load of boxes. So currently I have an 80-litre tote and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 30-litre totes, plus another 3 30-litre totes. So that's 9 30-litre totes and an 80-litre tote, plus 9, 18, 27, 36, 40-odd litres of really useful boxes.
Jesus. You're getting as bad as me.
Been organised. But yeah, I'm fucking half your age.
Oh, mate, you've got a scary 30 years coming up. If you're already buried in shit like I am now. Yeah, it's definitely scary. Anything
it's only
else?
Scary if you don't enjoy the ride.
Anything else?
10 minutes. 10 minutes. It's fucking news time because otherwise we're going to be late to main topic.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so check back again later with us, folks. No doubt we will be trying more fantasy games and rule systems until we find the one that David likes. I must confess I do like the look of Argatoria, having watched a video on it.
I really fucking fancy another beer now. Fuck's sake, Lidl. Yeah, Lidl.
Let's go web browser. Let's turn that off. So, not much news. 10 minutes should be more than enough for everybody. So,
I was doom scrolling. Fucking shock horror.
First thing is the painting phase.
We're going to yours first. I thought it was doing mine.
So the painting phase. They did a talking head video. I think this one's actually 2 weeks old or 3 weeks old, but I don't remember mentioning it. They did.
You won't have mentioned it because you were at UK Games Expo.
They did a show with Annie. They've done Gary Morley, who is an old school sculptor. And they've just done one with Dave from Mini Wargaming. Dave's fun, but watching him for 2 hours be slightly inane and like a 7-year-old on, diet on
too much orange juice
is like... wasn't for me. And I haven't really got my teeth into the Gary Morley one yet. But
I was about to say, though, people come back here, and I'm like a 7-year-old. And
that is true. But that is more to laugh at you, not with you. I think
not with me, at me, because you're a cunt.
Annie's great on screen. It's a really good conversation. It's great to watch Peachy being dead uncomfortable and stumble over his words, trying to be PC all the time. It's bloody hysterical. Well, that was us demonetized quick.
Why? Oh, fucking hell, Crispin! Jesus! Fucking H Christ!
Oh, dear. Right, okay, Darren, I'll make sure to give it a watch if you think it's worth it. Okay, mate. So, yes, definitely check this one out. It's a great show. It's still some of the best content these guys produce. And all three of them, not just Peachy, but Patrick and Jeff, fantastic characters, fantastic personalities.
Oh, fuck.
Just so watchable. And it's great to, them guests on. Next, and the only other real bit of news is what David alluded to earlier.
I was doom scrolling and Facebook came and showed me a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, Annie always talks a lot of sense. Oh, Tim's rescued it. 7-year-old whiskies. Thank God for that, Tim. That's brilliant. So essentially, if I read this right, mate, some complete nut job from Spain has basically said, I will really, really like Frostgrave, so I'm going to make a digital STL for everything in Frostgrave.
Pretty much. There's a few creatures that are missing, but if you scroll down, let's show the boys and girls at home all of the different wizards, all of the different classes.
We're just scrolling through the wizards now.
Fucking God. The Enchanter's amazing. The Elementalist is amazing. The fucking Chronomancer's amazing.
I don't like the Necromancer standing on the gravestone. That looks contrived.
Yeah,
the rest of the miniature is amazing. Standing on the gravestone is a bit fucking, I don't know what, frankly. The Witch is awesome. The Elementalist is amazing.
I just love the Enchanter, like that little girl riding a fucking animated teddy bear.
Oh, the teddy. We haven't got there yet. That's at the bottom.
She is absolutely gorgeous. Like, hats off to this guy and his sculpting ability, because
I do apologise, guys. I can't see the chat, so if I'm not responding, it's because I can't see while I'm in browser mode. But yeah.
Frostgrave the musical from Orinoco.
Yeah, the miniatures are stunning. This one is free, I believe. This is given away
as the Apprentice, isn't it?
The Apprentice.
Even the Apprentices. The Apprentices are nice enough.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They're not themed as well as the Wizards, but hey, who cares? They're the Apprentice.
And again, some of them for gaming miniatures, I mean, that's a bit diorama. It's a little bit cluttered for a gaming mini, I guess.
The one carrying the stack of books?
Yeah, well, no, this one, the little girl standing behind the table with the nuclear explosion in the bowl.
Oh, yeah, that is a bit...
It's a bit busy for a... and then you've basically got all of your henchmen,
with options, so you've got, like... Thug and thief sculpts that are classified as soldiers, so they're in like tunics and tabards.
Yeah.
And then you have the knights, which are the more heavily armoured. Again, daggers, swords, axes, maces, shields, bows, crossbows, fucking anything. Get a mini, get a head, get some weapons, slap it all together.
Yeah, some more heavily armoured guys. Again, multi-part. Put it together however you want to put it together. Loads of variety, loads of build options. Fantastic. Treasure tokens.
And then there's some, again, They do a plain version and a snow version for those that don't want to put snow on it themselves.
Oh,
which
is that what this is?
genius,
So basically,
yeah.
this is the STL with the snow added to make painting it. Okay.
To make a texture for it.
I would probably do these and add snow effects, to be fair.
Yeah, I would as well, because
but I suppose he's giving you the option if you don't want to do that, which is fair comment. If you're not, you know, if you're going for a more board game look and don't want to, you know, do the whole hobby thing.
And then we have some terrain. There's some terrain as well, isn't there? That's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're simple, business-like. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking or revolutionary in here, is there, mate?
I'll tell you what I do like in this set, though, the dead trees.
Did you? Now, yes. I'll be honest, they were my least favourite thing.
And the reason I say it, is because realistically, we don't know whether Frostgrave was like a northern latitude city or a like London.
Yeah, pre the cataclysm.
Or like further south, like Madrid, etc.
Yeah.
So again, trees absolutely covered in snow and hammered and broken and buckled and bent and
yeah. I just thought they were a bit meh. But I mean, again, the rubble piles, meh. It's just rubble. It's nice to have, and they're handy things to be able to 3D print for any game.
And again, nice scatter.
Yeah. Everything's pre-supported. If anybody wants to, check out our previous video on whether this means what it says on the tin or is actually a crock of shit, because that seems to vary.
Remains to be seen, but I do believe they're supported by Atlas, who get good fucking rep.
Oh, okay.
Really good fucking rep for supporting.
That's nice to know then, mate.
Because Atlas do supports for a bunch of fucking guys.
So Atlas isn't a software platform, it's actually a company that specialises in the science of
to my
support.
knowledge it is.
Okay, worth knowing. Thank you, sir. And then there's an absolute fuck ton of stretch goals, more miniatures,
and again,
more
there's
terrain.
fucking bolt-ons for this as well, so you can get fucking white gorillas.
Yeah, the monsters.
Ice spiders. Fucking all sorts.
I mean, there's the ice toad. The monsters are incredible. A whole selection of different posed worms for the worm hunt mission.
The worms, I'm a bit meh on.
Yeah, they're fine.
I've already got worms.
Yeah, they're fine.
That, again, if somebody clips that and takes that entirely out of context.
David's got worms.
The fountain's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, the white gorillas are amazing. Great posing on some of these. Really dynamic. Isn't it?
It is, and it's not actually too much to back.
Female soldier heads. That's a good call. Really easy change. And then we've got some other stuff that isn't unlocked. Snow leopards. They're okay. Faces look a little bit weird for me. But they're fine. And then we've got multi-part skeletons. Have you looked at how much all of this costs, mate?
Yes, I did.
So how much is all in?
Hang on, it's not in front of me.
Give me all of the stuff.
Right,
Look at that. An undead.
Here we go.
horse.
We're gonna go back this project.
Amazing.
So those that care, 20 days left to go on it. For €25, you get all your characters, all unlocked character stretch goals. For €25, you can have all of the terrain and all the unlocked terrain stretch goals. Characters and terrain set is €39, which is about 34 of your Great British pounds. That is all characters, all terrain, all unlocked stretch goals, which is fucking nice. If you want all in with everything, add-ons, giants, ice toads, fucking everything.
Look at the golems.
You're looking at €89, which is 77 of your Great British pounds. The constructs are really nice. I'm not a fan of them, but I think the reason I'm not a fan of them is because I've already got all my constructs for Frostgrave anyway.
But these are so cool. I mean, they're literally like Fantasia built out of real objects. They're so clever, some of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're genius.
And it delivers next month.
Look at it. Yeah, and there's a commercial license. Good news for us, guys. We might be able to buy them. The demons are okay.
Yeah, I mean...
Music store? What the fuck? Oh,
so they've done that's their Patreons to advertise their Patreon, because this guy does Patreons for €10 a month kind of thing. And you can also get some of his other stuff. So he's got the old City of Firwood, Fantasy NPCs, and Fantasy NPCs 2. So
if you're into any of that stuff, mate?
No, let's go have a look at the City of Firwood now, because that's probably the thing that's going to strike my goat. The core set is $65. All in is $101.
Open. So this is City of Firwood on his My Mini Factory.
I'm just trying to see if I can see it, but you can't.
But it doesn't seem to show me much. I don't. Okay. Well, that's a disappointment. That's not what I was looking for.
View on Kickstarter. There's a button at the top, mate.
What, for the Firwood?
Yep. You click on it, it takes you to My Mini Factory, then across the banner at the top is a
View on Kickstarter. You're dead right. Look at that. This man knows how to use the internet.
There's some nice stuff in this. The Wizard Tower, Weapon Shop. It's more D&D. Or just pure fantasy. Not ruined.
They're nice buildings. But there's loads of people who already do this stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's one of them sort of things. You can never have too many cool buildings.
To be brutally honest, I'm more interested in his scatter stuff that's further down the page as stretch goals. Like barrels, stone walls, a gallows set, fishing boats.
Yeah, they're more generally useful, aren't they? He's got a modular dungeon type thing going on as well, by the looks of it.
Again.
Yeah, those are nice. The urns and stuff.
This is what comes to you in a doom scroll.
Yeah. So, are you going to be backing that, sir? What do you think?
Possibly.
Okay.
And the reason I say is possibly is because I've also got our favourite Australian company to back this month. So Zirconium Prison Mines is into its final 7 days.
What's that? Is into its final...
Necromunda. The Zirconium Prison from Sorcery.
Oh, yeah. That
Necromunda table set.
Trevor's just asked in chat. It's STLs only, Trevor. Sadly, so you need to own a printer to make use of this, or be able to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
So, Darren just assembled, pinned an all metal tree man and filled the gaps with green. Oh my god! Well done, mate. Hey, what's that for? Blood Bowl? Or is it just some sort of fantasy mini?
Right.
Yeah. So, that's taken us to past 9 o'clock.
I was going to say, we better get going on the main topic this evening. So...
Well, as I've got the browser up, let's...
Where are we going first? Are we doing Ironclad or are we doing Margrave Marcher Lords?
Let's do Margrave.
Yeah, we'll do Margrave.
I'm going to leave this video running. This is the launch video on YouTube for Margrave. So this is... Margrave is a game that David and I got a chance to play. I think it's 3 Sales Studios is the company. And we got to...
I know they're Manchester based.
We got to play this game at UK Games Expo this year. And it is a... rank
and flank.
Yeah, rank and file fantasy game. in a made-up universe where it's sort of alternate history, sort of.
Yeah, so you've got...
The factions have actually got quite close
ties
aesthetic.
to IRL factions.
Yeah,
so
got...
you've got the Spartans and ancient Greeks, haven't you? That's one faction that they've got.
The Helicon League.
Yep. They've got the not Japanese, Chinese.
Yeah,
ancient Chinese.
They're sort of pre-industrial medieval Chinese warriors, which, to be fair, are the faction whose models appeal to me most. And then there's like a
Spanish Inquisition, come plague doctors, come 16th, 17th century.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird mishmash of loads of
medieval Europe, though, definitely.
From medieval Europe, like you say. And so, as you can see from the video, it's all played on movement trays. Units are broken down into sub-units of 4 models. And a lot of the game's core mechanics are driven by cards. Okay?
And 2 systems. Zeal, and what's the other one?
Now then, it was called something different on the cards to what they kept.
Yeah, because it depends on your faction what it's called.
It's sort of like morale, but it wasn't called either of those things, was it?
Prowess, was it?
Possibly. Don't know. Anyway.
No, prowess was the upgrade bullshit, but we'll come to that in a minute.
So, everything's driven by cards. So, you have a card with all of your faction abilities on it. So, when your army abilities, you choose a leader for your force, and he will have a card that adds certain abilities to your force. And then each unit also has a card with abilities on it. Now,
so the other way this was described as well is not only is it a rank and flank game, and it sounds quite complicated to say this to begin with, but it's a rank and flank game with like RTS elements of upgrades and development as you play the game, wasn't it?
Yes.
And when this was pitched to you, you were like, I'm really unsure about that.
Well,
I'm not a fan of RTS games on the computer, and why would I want to have all this cards and extra mana bollocks on my table?
Yeah.
Was your 2 cents when you first initially saw it on the Friday?
Well, not only that, he said, we think of it as having a lot in common with RTS games, and obviously as somebody who hates computer games with a vengeance, I was like, that's not the right pitch. Just bear me in mind. Why?
My beer's gone
Go
too.
away.
I've drank it.
So, yeah. This is sort of like saying that it's like an RTS game was like, oh, no, okay, you don't have me there. But actually, if I can speak as an old grognard, don't give that too much credence.
Again,
it is just quite a clever card-driven miniatures war game.
Yeah, and the lads described basically each of the factions have their own unique flavour when it comes to like their upgrade system. I still can't remember the fucking name for it, but like the ancient Greek one is like a temple. So to get to your top tier upgrade, you have to go up one of the columns and go that way. So you have to unlock your progress that way. The Chinese one, I can't remember exactly how he said that was, but then the Spanish Inquisition was like a Catherine wheel. So basically it was right in the centre and you had to work your way from the outside in and across. for your top tier.
Basically, they're like tech trees on computer games, but like David said, what I think is a really clever thing, each tech tree for upgrading your army is designed around a unique geometric pattern that matches the flavour of the warband, which is just such a simple design touch, but is so clever. For me, the takeaway unique selling point, because you guys know I need give me the USP, because there are already so many of these games. Why would I play this one? And for me...
Oh, Paul, did you go get the book?
No, I will do, though. For me, the most interesting aspect of the game design is that, whereas with a lot of games, you would buy upgrades for a unit at a fixed cost, this game, each unit has some sort of special rule or condition that you need to meet to be able to upgrade it dynamically in the game.
And when you buy your unit as you build your army, it gives you access to the points that you can spend on your tree.
Yes. And so it's not a simple case of spend 10 points to upgrade these units with this rule. You have a condition that you must meet within the battle. So like the Spartans that I was playing in the demo game, I believe theirs was after they took a charge from an enemy unit and suffered no casualties, they got to proc their upgrade by spending these zeal points to actually improve the unit. And that sort of like dynamic changing of your units as the game goes along, for me, is a really, really interesting feature that grabbed me. What do you think, mate?
It's cool, it's unique. The other thing that was hats off to these guys is they started their demo game towards the end of a actual game. So we had basically the Helicon League, a squad of Spartans, versus 2 units of the Spanish Inquisition force, didn't we?
Yep.
And it was done towards the end of the game. We'd got abilities and stuff off. Obviously, some of the units were damaged and that kind of thing. But it did allow you to see what was going on with the game and
David
how to
and
spend your stuff.
What I'm playing for everybody now on screen is some of the video footage in slightly accelerated time-lapse mode that David and I took on the day. So you can see how our demo game evolved, and you'll see David does some pan shots of the miniatures that they had on display for the 3 starting factions.
Do you want to duck out and get your book a minute, and I'll field some of the questions from chat?
Yeah, what I was going to say was, before I do that, one of the things that David and I will be coming back to this probably for a full stream topic, but absolute, like David's just mentioned, absolute reps to these guys for the way that they'd planned out their demonstration game.
Admittedly, the table wasn't the best because it was just the units and some shrubbery.
Yeah, I mean,
that genius idea to be 3/4 of the way through a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
There were things, don't get me wrong, they could have definitely polished things up. It was a little bit scruffy looking, but they were pushed for space. But I tell you what they had done, they had thought about how is this demonstration play going to reflect our game? And you could tell they'd literally constructed a scenario. They knew they'd thought of it, and they knew what was going to be, they knew what they were showcasing. But again, they didn't leave you with no agency of your own. It was very well done. I'll go and see if I can find this book.
Yeah, go duck out and find that book. And if anybody's got any questions in chat, throw them up now or forever hold your peace. But for me, the game was quite slick, and it did take a little while to pick up. I think we ended up playing about 3 turns, but by most of the way through the second turn, I had seen it, and I got my head wrapped around it. You had card effects in your hand that, for example, could stop your opponent making orders. You had upgrade abilities that you could do, as Paul said, about with your zeal and your prowess abilities. All of the stats were down the left-hand side of the cards. For another conscious decision that these guys have made when it came to card development is the card is double-sided, and you will see in the footage where we have to pick it up to look at the other side of it for like your combat abilities and other things. Basically, the game that we played at Expo ended with Paul was playing the Helicon League, and Paul had to stop me getting into his deployment zone, i.e. where the front rank is at the edge of that green forestry. All in all, it wasn't too bad. We played, I think it was for about half an hour to get a flavour of it. And it was all... was it dice pool? I'm fairly sure it was dice pool, wasn't it?
It wasn't because dice pool as such, but you just rolled multiple you rolled X dice.
Well, again, it didn't matter if you had lost guys either, did it?
No.
From memory.
Basically, what happened... as it's miniature removal, so when a unit suffers wounds, you take models off a stand of 4, but you don't lose the attack dice or the defense dice for the stand until after it's fully removed.
Fully dead.
So it was a weird mixture of model removal and staged wounding. It was quite odd. Probably the most counterintuitive part of it, because they hadn't really gone for one or the other. They just sort of like run with this weird hybrid. But so yeah, I've got a few of my notes. So basically, they're looking to come to Kickstarter in around September this year, with the 3 initial factions. Which are the Greeks, Chinese in Renaissance Europe. Price is £90-ish for around 50 models for your core pledge. Okay, which will get you an army of one of the factions.
They did mention unlocked stretch goals of, for example, cavalry units and that kind of thing. And they have also mention to us that there is a 4th faction in development that will be announced close to the Kickstarter or once the Kickstarter's ended.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be post-Kickstarter, but they've got plans for growth of the game and development moving forward. They're probably going to be going through Siocast, because I noticed somebody was saying about whether it would be modular plastics and that. It is going to be Siocast probably, so which means the miniatures are going to be largely one piece, I would think. Maybe separate spear arms or something like that. But it's definitely not going to be full sprue multi-part plastic at this stage, at least. All of the cards, rulebook, assets for play, tokens, they're all going to be print and play. Okay? So...
available on the internet forevermore.
Basically, it's going to be a living rule set that they can adapt and change and tweak. And it's only the miniatures are going to be the manufactured product, effectively. Yeah. So, you know, that it definitely has a lot to recommend it. And
again, as Paul said, USP, the miniatures are quite nice. The rule set itself and this upgrade on the fly ability is really quite nice. The miniatures themselves are fucking gorgeous.
I'll be honest,
because they're a weird blend of historical and fantasy at the same time.
While I think all of the miniatures that they had on show in a vacuum looked great, one of the things that does sort of concern me a bit is whether, as a collection and on the tabletop, they will look cohesive, like they're from the same living, breathing world. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because you've got Greeks with Chinese with Middle Age,
and again, you're talking separations of like hundreds of years for the aesthetic. It's not like, say, you've got loads of different factions from around the globe, all in the period 500 BC to 500 AC. You've got periods, you've got nations, all bastardized versions of nation states from around the world over periods of like hundreds and thousands of years, and it's like, is that gonna work? I'm not really sure. I mean, again, I'm probably being devil's advocate at this point. It'll probably look fine, and as I say, in a vacuum, all the miniatures look fucking great, to be honest. And they had a lot to, because again, when I say they look great, they look like they'll be a pleasure to paint, a pleasure to collect. Each model is not dripping with 50,000 details that'll take you 6 months to wade through. They look great as units. They've got a distinctive style. Do you think that's fair, mate?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing how the game pans out, how you build your factions. Because the other thing they did say is, like, you have your scenario and stuff, and then you build your army. Yep. So you know what you're playing before you bring your army, therefore you know what you want to buy in as part of, like, your tech tree and your upgrades.
Yeah.
Which I think is a valid point in this kind of game, because you don't want to just rock up, roll a scenario because you buy your upgrades as part of your army building. You don't want to rock up to a scenario where it's like, oh, well, I could have done with that one, and I don't have that one.
Yeah, sort of.
Do you think?
Yeah. And also, obviously, the cards that we were playing with at the show are development. They weren't highly legible, but these are bloody... What do you call it?
No, I did say, like, the double-sided effect was a bit annoying.
Yeah, having to flip them constantly. They are just prototype pieces, so you can't read too much into that. But having been made quite anxious by the initial spiel, where it's like, oh, it's like very much like an RTS. Well, I wouldn't say it. It just seemed to me a great little miniatures game with a unique twist. Yes. And I really liked the way the cards worked in the game. I found, because again, all of your rules are there on your card. Even though David and I had never played this big game before, he said, oh, well, I'm going to do this. And I said, but I have this reaction or this defensive ability that I can do this when. And the whole thing was so playable.
I said by like the second round, we picked it up and knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I said was about like the hand manipulation and order manipulation, because again, certain units you can give more orders to. So you could give 3 to your Helicon League, whereas I could only give 2 to each of my unit.
Yes.
But I had basically a fuck off card of, once the guys place the order on it, you just tell him, no, you're not doing that order, and it's burnt, because you can only use most orders once per turn, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's got all sorts of nice details to it. It's a really deep game, I think. It'd be one of those games, I think, when you start to get into it, you'd really get into it. What with all the different tech tree options. I'll tell you something else as well. The way that they'd designed the tutorial scenario as like an asymmetric situation where David, I think, was explaining they basically had to break into my deployment zone and I just had to keep him out of it. Brave thing to do for this sort of game in a demonstration thing. But again, I think it foreshadows that they are planning to put a lot of complexity within the mission types. It's not just going to be batter your opponent to death. I think there's going to be some quite sophisticated objectives buried within the missions.
Yeah, holding terrain or zones and King of the Hill style-y and stuff like that.
All sorts of things.
I think, there's loads there.
So, as I say, I
need some more London Grey. I'm nearly running out.
Yeah. Asymmetric scenarios are cool. And to be fair, this did feel tense because I did win in the end, but it could have gone either way. In our game.
Again, you were rolling like a fucking demon. I couldn't hit a barn door.
Yeah, well, that was a thing. But that's always your problem. Just
dice fail me.
You just treat your dice badly, don't you?
Not even my dice.
Well, whoever's dice they are, stop treating them badly.
If they were my dice, they'd have been flung across the room for bad behaviour. Either that or fucking spanked and melted. I don't know.
Rendered in the microwave. So yeah, Margrave. The Marcher Lords.
Coming to Kickstarter around September. Delivery time was another thing that was mentioned. Now, obviously, take delivery time with a massive pinch of salt because it's a Kickstarter. Yeah. But we did ask the question, and the answer was...
The guys are thinking 12 months in the region of. Certainly no more. If it's more than that, they've done something horribly wrong. So there you go, guys. Want to keep an eye out for. There is content up on YouTube. Feel free to follow Three Sales Studios on Instagram. Hashtags are in the video description for all of these things. So if you like the look of it, check it out. As I say, it's certainly one that we would recommend is worth a look, don't you reckon?
It is. And then the next one we're going to mention is Ironclads. So
Let's just go to the main scene.
Twee little cutesy steampunk Victorian dreadnought space game.
So from a game that isn't out yet to a game that is...
Backed on Kickstarter and is now live through Triple Ace Games?
Yeah, Triple Ace Games. Hashtag is in the description. So, David pretty much summed it up. If you think sort of like, not airships, but ships with weird steampunk rockety engines on, flying through the atmosphere of Mars or space, fighting each other, you've got it. The aesthetic is cool as hell. The models look really odd. When I first saw them at a distance, I thought they were like painted wooden toys, but they're actually like resins, aren't they, mate?
Yes, 3D printed resins.
And they're magnetized, which I think the magnets come in the kit, don't they, to build them?
Yes.
All the turrets, the front and aft turrets are magnetized, so they all rotate, because direction of fire on the turrets is one of the core parts of the game mechanics. How your ships can generate fields of fire. It's got a great look. You've got Americans, British, and Germans, I think.
At the moment, and there is talks of bringing more.
Okay, so those are the fleets that are available for the minute. I think you've got, what, about half a dozen boats for each faction?
Yeah, because there's some civilian class ones. There's some, what's it called? Obviously, like the battleships, gunboats, destroyers, and like I say, there's some civilian ones and some weird and wonderful wacky ones for each faction as well. So the Americans have got what's called the Thunderbird, which is basically a ship built around a fucking railgun / ray gun, similar to the A-10 Warthog. It's hilarious.
It is very good. And they've got loads of different ways to buy. You've got a 2-player starter set, which I think is American-German or British-German? British-German, I think.
I'm not sure.
Or you can buy fleet boxes.
Individual factions, yeah.
With about 4 ships, I think, for each faction. Then there are upgrade packs where you can buy individual ships, and there are some real big boy centerpiece models that you can buy as well. So you've got a number of different ways to get into the game. Just drop.
Upworld has called it. What? Reminds him of X-Wing.
Well,
and we will come to that in a second.
We will. So there are a couple of things. Again, let's talk unique selling point. Why would you play this game? Oh, I already play X-Wing. Why would I play this? Well, the movement mechanic is very clever. You can just see it in this picture here. Well, I think it's very clever. I mean, I could be an idiot.
All of your ships are based on octagon bases.
Correct. Not
everything
hexagons, octagon.
Has a propulsion value and a steering value. Propulsion is the amount of hexes that you can move and chain, or octagon, sorry, that you can move and chain together. Steering is the amount of angle changes you can make.
Yes. So to move the ships, you lay these cardboard octagons down in a path, and the number of octagons is equal to, as David said, is equal to the
propulsion
value. And as each octagon lines up, if you change direction, it will increase a turning number, and the steering number must never exceed your maximum by the time you get to the end. So with some ships, you can create really maneuverable paths where you almost U-turn on yourself. For the bigger boys, you obviously can only grok the octagons round one face, so you do longer sweeping turns. Really clever, really intuitive, more flexible than movement templates that you would have in, say, X-Wing, because obviously there are a million different ways you can do it.
If you have steering 2 is a prime example, you can actually change like 2 faces on your octagon when you come to place yourself at the end of your movement, even if you daisy chain all of your propulsion ones in a straight line.
Yeah, you
as
can
Paul's
still
already
use
touched
that
on.
To place yourself in contact with any exposed face of the last octagon, as long as you have the steering available to do that. Which is sort of like equivalent to sort of a skid turn sort of effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really clever system. Makes the game very movement focused, which you'd probably expect from this sort of game. The other thing that's really
I was just
interesting
about to say that.
Is
in
what?
The picture on screen, is there's some tokens with some flags on.
Yeah, so this one, the one in the center right, is the American flag upside down. And each player places 3 of these tokens down on the board at the start of the game. It's made by Triple Ace Games, I think it is, Trevor. Now, in the sort of demo rules and in the starter basic game, these tokens can be moved turn to turn.
And if you end within 4 inches of them,
yes,
you can proc abilities on the back, but we'll touch on that more in a second.
So to give orders to your ships, any order other than movement, basically, to your ship, it has to end within 4 inches of one of the order tokens that you've put down. Obviously, in the full fat version of the game, you place those 3 tokens face down with the flag side up, and then you never move them. And it makes the planning insane. I think that this could easily be one of the most deep and difficult miniature games to master going forward, because the planning that you need and the foresight that you need to respond to your opponent is pretty big. Now, there's another element to this. You can see the flag you can see the American flag on the token in the front right. If you look just behind it, that token is flipped the other way up. So on the opposite side to the flag side, you have a number of symbols, usually 3, I think it is.
Yeah.
And those symbols correspond to the orders you can give the ship.
I.e., move and shoot, repair, and also there's some flavorful ones for each faction. So, for example, the Americans can overload, is it?
Yeah, basically they can damage their ships to power up their guns. So there's loads of flavour. The tokens are unique to the faction. The other fantastic thing is that you have like a library of like 12 tokens, but you can only choose 3 for your game. So it's another element of planning that you need to, and each token has a different set of combination of symbols. So you might have some tokens that favour movement shenanigans, some tokens that favour attacks,
repair,
etc. The layers on this cake are almost bloody unbelievably endless.
Don't you be talking about layered food!
From such... Now, and again, you're thinking, oh, this sounds a bit too overwhelming. When when you shoot your weapons, you've got 3 rage bands, short, medium and long, I think it is.
No, close, short, medium, long.
Close 4. But then they can be subdivided again, so you can have close, short, long, short. It's really complicated. And you might think, oh, this is sounding a bit too much. But the dice mechanic is dead simple, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, if you're closer with your weapons, you hook more dice.
You need a type.
Well, that's handy.
You pick the number of dice you need to roll, which told you on your sheet. You roll for a target number. You do or you don't. So
yeah, 4s, 5s, and 6s were the target numbers.
Basically, it balances up. Where the game has complexity in one zone, but it tips the balance back with simplicity in the other zone. And this is another thing that leads me to believe this could be a really satisfying game to play, because the complexity is all in the non-RNG section.
Yeah.
The RNG is what it is, because you have to have an element of randomness to bring any game to life. Otherwise, it's very deterministic. Chess, anyone?
Sailing under.
But I just think it's worth a look. This is I don't think the buying's huge either.
No, it's not. It's not. The rulebook isn't much. If you've got a 3D, again, Triple Ace Games, if you've got a 3D printer,
they will sell you the STLs if you don't want to buy their resins.
The only downside being you would have to get the magnets yourself.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't know. Is there anything more to say? The stuff was painted fabulously as well. Really striking colour schemes, blue, green, and black.
Actually, yeah, there is a little bit to talk about.
Go on, mate.
The Americans. You may have noticed the blue ships in the picture reels that we've been talking over. They're All their boats are like split in half.
You can just see it on the funnily enough, the picture that's up now that David's talking. If you look in the front left, you can see there's this weird, it almost looks something's missing from the ship.
That is because the Americans are splitting the atom, and therefore they've split the reactor part and the nuclear part of their ship at the back from the living quarters at the front. Hence why there's no portholes on them. Nice little design touches like that.
Yeah, it's some really well thought out little features. The bases look great.
Yeah.
They're really substantial and chunky. I mean, obviously the table we played on at the show looked beautiful. It was like custom made with molded rocky outcrops and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the young lady who gave us the demo game said, just play it on an X-Wing map. Get a
3x3 X-Wing map.
Put it out. You can put out the asteroid tokens as debris to give cover and block line of sight. And
again, if ships get blown up, they block line of sight, etc.
You can get debris markers to represent down ships. All of the ships are driven by their own card. So just in case anybody was wondering, it's a card-based game like X-Wing. It shows all of your arcs of fire of each of your weapon hotspots. It shows you all of the stats for your guns. It's a great little game. Fantastic little game.
Like you said, buy-in is not a terrible amount, and there is a lot of tactical depth without it being deterministic.
Yeah, no. As I say, I think this could be one of the, considering the very few assets, just buy 3 or 4 ships. I reckon you've got tons of replayability in this game. The different ways you can explore, placing your order tokens, playing the missions.
Only criticism.
I was just about to make one, yet. I think you're going to make the same one as me, aren't you?
Scenarios.
Yes.
There is none.
Yes.
You've got to build them yourself.
Yes. So if you are somebody who wants to be spoon-fed everything, this is not the game system that is going to spoon-feed you everything. Like David says, when you look up scenarios in the main rulebook, it gives you some ideas of some scenarios you might try, but it does not give you any concrete rules.
Here's your deployment zones, here's what you're doing, here's your mission, here's how you win, kind of thing.
You are supposed to come up with that to tell your own stories, basically. Which is what it is. For some, it's like they're not in for that. They want everything tightly scripted and really, laid out for them with the nth degree. For other people, the freedom to tell your own stories and make up your own shenanigans is manna from heaven. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
But again, massive USPs on this is the movement mechanic is fucking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. The miniatures are quite cool. And the game has massive tactical depth, but is not cumbersome or hard to learn or pick up. I think is basically the USPs, wouldn't you say, Ginge?
Yeah. I mean, we were playing within 5 minutes, and within 15 minutes, we'd realised we weren't even scratching the surface.
Because again, it's like the lady demo was like, "Oh, well, you don't pick these up in the main game." It's like, "Oh, okay." That after we'd picked them up a couple of times, it's like, "Oh my god!" Actually, that's even more deterministic because it sort of forces you to where the battle's going to be. Because the other thing is, it is a deployment and placing those hexes is I go, you go, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole
and it's I go, you go throughout the entire game.
Well, no, you mean alternating activations, don't you? Not I go, you go.
It was I go, you go, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? where we did everything.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure we did everything.
I can't remember, if I'm honest.
We're terrible. Should have made some notes.
We have failed on the internet.
Sorry to be a disappointment, internet. But it wouldn't be the Yellow Belly Tabletop without being a disappointment.
No, I'm sure it was alternating activations.
I don't think it was.
Do you not? So what was it? It was I go, you go by phases.
I think it's you.
Movement,
I think you did all the movement, then I did all my movement, then you did all your shooting, then I did. Yeah. I think that's what we did.
We'll get back to you.
Well, how's your evening of hobby gone? Because we're coming to the end of the evening. We've got 15 minutes still to go on the show.
Let me start up my phone. I've not done too bad. What is that? Let's turn that off.
3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make a count. 3, 4, 5.
So here's what I've been working on. These SDKs. I've managed to get, lighting isn't fantastic, but I've managed to get all of the tracks on all 4, front axles and wheels on all 4. Essentially, apart from machine guns, these things are assembled and ready to prime.
Would you like to know how well I have done this evening?
Go on. Do you want me to go to your camera?
No, because it's
broken.
No, it's just painted bases.
Oh, okay.
But 41 bases have had their base coat put on them.
Right, okay. So
they now need a wash step and then an oil wash step.
So do you think you're going to be finished by the 21st of June, or are you just going to have a large proportion of it smashed?
Going to have a large proportion of it done, I think.
Just make sure you get some pictures and shit.
I'm going to.
Did you have a picture of everything before you started? Because that's one of the rules.
Yes, I have.
Okay,
go to time to join the league on Tabletop.
Oh, of course, you've already done your opening pitch, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, right, good man. Get some update pics on there.
I will.
Yeah, he's done
Tim
well.
Tim would be disappointed if we didn't disappoint you.
He's done well. Lad done well. Lad done great.
I don't speed paint, but apparently David does speed paint.
He does. New string to his bow. Boo.
To be fair, Vallejo Express Colour and Citadel Contrast have been doing heavy lifting.
That's what the force on.
Plus airbrush work as well on certain miniatures.
Yep. And I don't think any of you guys went to UKGE this. Do you think I'm getting tired? Either that or I've had a stroke. I don't think any of you guys went to UKGE this year, but if you're watching this later on YouTube and you did go to UKGE, join us on Instagram with getting all of our UKGE shame finished, ready to play, done.
Also,
bang.
For those that are interested for next year, dates were announced, and we didn't mention this last week on stream, so let's mention it now because we've got 10 minutes.
Don't tell anybody because I'll get all the hotels. Stop.
Have you not booked?
Not yet.
May 31st to June 2nd.
2024. Dates are live. So, if we can convince 10 people to dip their toe into UK Games Expo next year, May 31st to June 2nd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do it.
Birmingham
NEC. You'll have the time of your life.
And your wallet will be significantly lighter if you hang around with me and Paul.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to say it'll be a cheap day out, but it'll be a fun day out. Definitely. Yeah. Tell me about it, Limbo. Tell me about it, mate. Obviously, you saw our huge hobby hauls last week. Everybody who wants to put in the comments how much they think we spent, feel free. Get your little calculators out. Yeah, it was expensive. It was expensive.
It wasn't the cheapest of weekends, was it?
No.
But it's once a year. It's like Christmas in that regard. And birthdays.
Yeah.
Orinoco coming in with the lowball offer of 600 quid each.
Right. Any advance? Do we have any advance on 600? And we're just talking toys. We're not
Darren,
including...
Moonstone isn't cheap and you both bought a lot. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, Darren. Yes. So, yeah, we're not including hotels, food, ancillaries.
No, to be fair.
Oh, that's... Well, okay.
We did include food and beer in that.
Food will roll. Yeah, Trevor's getting there. Yeah, basically. I think, yeah.
Pay each, wasn't it, basically?
It hurts. But it's fun. You only live once. And more importantly, it's only once a year.
And the time and pressure is upon us.
Yep. So
I mean, we still haven't made a decision after that throwaway comment at the end of last stream about if we don't get shit painted, what we're going to do with it.
Well,
but I think we're making a conscious effort.
I mean, I will be definitely having a word with you. We need to get a formal Facebook post where we make the commitment, and then perhaps we lay out the consequences for not doing it. He's not biting. There's no way.
I don't like consequences to my actions.
He's going green again.
I live in the moment, and it's my shit.
And my toys.
My toys. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Tim, you will prize not a scrap of it from his cold, dead fist. Oh, dear.
To be fair, my haul does fit in 2 9-litre really useful boxes, which makes me feel even worse about the amount that I spent.
Value for money box, not ticked.
Well, I suppose I'm not including flames because that's in its own 4-litre really useful box. So.
Oh, come on. Keep going. Keep going. Keep up in the ante. You'll get there. Right. Well, we've sort of finished a bit early, but that's fine because normally we're 10 minutes bloody late. Thank you very much.
Well, usually we end the stream, then we spend 10 minutes waffling because somebody makes a really good throwaway comment. So what we'll do now is we'll end the stream now, and then we'll have 10 minutes of waffle, and we'll end on time.
Yeah, that's probably
logic.
True.
That's logic. Let's be honest here. Do a live battle report as punishment, or some other different type of video, perhaps. Darren, would you guys? Would you guys be interested in live videos of us playing? Just throwing it out there.
If you would like to see a live battle report, then put a comment down below. A live battle.
Oh God. I can't get salty about that yet. It's not been properly released.
10th edition. Did you say... Oh, here's a bit of news. Let's waffle a bit more. Did everybody see that we finally had all of the data cards released for 40k 10th edition? They all came out today. So, who's going to be giving it a spin?
Tim, playing with minis, yes. Playing with yourself, no. Is that motivational? Orinoco saying a Moonstone battle report would be good. Okay.
Yeah, it would.
We will.
I've got some. I'll crack out my foreground terrain. Yeah, Limburger. Nope, he's not trying 10th edition. Do you know what, guys? There's a reason we left it off the news, because we thought it's probably not going to be of interest.
And it tends.
Okay, do you know what, Darren? Tim Boykin, get off my screen. Do you know what?
Again, 40k tends to bring out the salt in me.
Do you know what, Darren? Next week or whenever you do, just let us know how it goes, mate. We'd love to hear how you get on. Obviously, I am being hyperbolic and taking the piss deliberately. Moonstone would be definitely something more up of our league.
40k with square bases. You know the other thing, because we've been ranting about it on this channel quite a bit. Carnivale. Once Paul pulls his finger out and paints his Carnivale terrain from last game's expo.
Wounded. I've got to find it first.
That's the fucking worst part of it, isn't it? The fact that you've had a set of terrain for a year and it's still in a box somewhere.
Hey, look. Assassin's Creed. Sorry. Assassin's Creed. Sorry.
Isn't Leviathan an airship game?
It's full of fucking hot air.
Oh,
is that what you meant?
Opinions on the new Tyrannid update model that's got a flesh cape and a weird spinal fucking tail.
Don't know. Not seen it.
I quite like it. It's quite pretty, but I don't own Tyrannids, and I don't want to play 40k.
I own Tyrannids. Still not buying it.
Cheese me, it's next to the plastic group, probably. I mean, Paul's found his now, so...
Oh, you guys are brutal. That's so rude.
Do you want to take the 6-inch dagger out of your back?
That's why I've leaned forward in a chair. I can't actually sit back now.
What, not without puncturing a lung?
Yeah.
What about Assassin's Creed? Well,
yeah.
We'll cross
actually,
that bridge when
once
we
the
get
summer
there.
challenge is over...
No, because I've got other challenges to deal with. I get all of UK Games Expo packets.
Actually, that is a good point. When you do get your League of Infamy, well, here's a question.
And Paul's got 20 quid riding on me not painting a bolt action army.
It's not happening. Not in a week.
It is. It is.
It's not happening.
No, it wasn't a week anyway. If you're going to fucking tell the story, tell the fucking story properly and give me the fact that it was 2 weeks.
It's 2
weeks. 2 weeks to paint 48 miniatures.
2 weeks to paint 48 miniatures. Ha! Ha!
David, a very challenged man.
Know.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Orinoco, but a while ago, David bought a British Airborne.
Yes.
Yeah, British Airborne Army. For Western Front, late war, for bolt action. And then he allowed him to get manoeuvred into the challenge where he would paint the entire thing in 2 weeks. And which I said...
I've got 2 weeks worth of annual leave left,
which
so
I
fuck
said,
you, Paul.
Which I said, 20 quid says you're a liar. So I've just made 20 quid.
No, you haven't.
He's gonna do full camo on 50 models in 2 weeks.
48! 48! Get the number correct!
It's not happening. And it's an all-infantry list, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is an all-infantry list.
Oh, dear. It's not happening.
It is! What's that averaging out, right?
Yeah.
48 minutes.
Trevor's got it. Seeing is believing.
48 minis, spend an hour a mini.
I've let him assemble them. And I even said I'd let him prime them.
Okay,
because I still don't think he'll paint them in 2 weeks.
If I spend an hour a mini, I need to average 3.4 hours of work a day. That is completely and utterly achievable.
Need to get the dip out. Yes, Orinoco.
No, not the dip! I'm not getting the fucking salsa out for the fucking bolt action.
Yes. Dip. Do the dip.
No.
You go. You know, it makes sense. Listen to the dip.
No, I'm not. I do not like. Okay, right. Last bit of salt before we end fucking stream for the evening, right? I do not like army painter products. I do not like the dip because it's glossy as fuck and terrible. I do not like the speed paints. I do not like their normal paints. There, I've said it. Their price point, good. But I don't like them. Yep, we're being salty.
Right, okay. Thank you very much to all of you guys in chat tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, as it always is every week. You are legends in your own living rooms. If you're joining us later on YouTube, thank you very much for giving us your time and watching along with our nonsense. We hope you get some hobby done while you're watching us, and later either play games or paint some models. But do you know what?
Do something.
Enjoy this hobby
anything.
because it's got so much to offer. If you can only find time to do one thing, please click the like button. It helps to share our video around and tells the YouTube algorithm that people actually did enjoy watching it. If you can do any of the other things listed on screen, please feel free to share, comment, or subscribe. Sharing's probably the most useful because we're a tiny channel in a niche within a niche. And if you can tell your friends about us, they're never going to find us without it. That helps.
And I think my final comment on tonight is just wait, because I'm going to find a way to paint a mini with salt.
That's how you can do. That's a brilliant idea. That's how you can do the camo on your bolt action. Salt chipping.
No, I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to do probably Gaslands with it.
What, salt chipping?
It's painting with salts, is it not?
Oh my God. Good night, everybody.
Night, guys.